welcome. Today is Monday, June 13th, not Friday, June 13th, but Monday, June 13th. So I think that's a couple of steps above, right? That's a good way to look at it, because this is Mental Monday or whatever. And so we can look at it from a good point of view. But anyways, I am Dr. Tony Rail Sutherland. I'm filling in for Todd Duplantis, who is on assignment today. And joining us is Parrish Murphy, who is going to tell you how to find us. Hey, Parrish.
Dr. Tony, how you doing? Yes, you can find us. We are live on Houston Community College District Facebook page and YouTube. We're also on Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, and on HCCTV at noon, 5, and 10 p.m., Monday through Friday.
There you go. So we're all over the place. Just remember to look for Houston Community College District, not just the HCC, because it can get confusing. But anyways, today is a two-fer. It's Music Monday, which I can't wait for. We have an HCC professor launching his summer audio workshops. David Sharma. Hi, David. How are you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
Doing good. Can't wait to listen to you and Parrish talk about one of my favorite subjects, percussion, and something else, what you're teaching, which I think is going to be just wonderful. But we'll be back to you in just a few moments. Well, actually in about 10 minutes. But first, we're going to talk to an HCC counselor who is on regularly. Her name is Roxanne, and she is Roxanne Francis. She is the counselor of HCC Southwest Mental Health Monday guest. Welcome to the show, Roxanne. Let's just make sure that we can hear you.
Thank you for having me. Good morning.
There you go. Excellent. Thank you. Well, you're going to talk to us about stress, so don't stress. We can handle.
No stress.
No stress today. Okay. All right. Well, let's get into that. Last month was Mental Health Awareness Month. But stress is with us no matter what time of year or day or whatever. Well, let's just say it can be with us, but there are ways that we can handle it. So tell us a little bit about that. Tell us about some of these life stressors that we have. How do we recognize it, and what are their impacts on us?
So one of the things about stress is stress can definitely impact your whole body. It can impact everything. So sometimes when you recognize maybe some changes in your mood, changes in your tolerance level, those are some of the things to look out for, because maybe something that usually you'll say, you know what, I can't change it. We'll see how the outcome kind of falls for us. If you notice like a change in how you're handling things, maybe even feeling tension in your body, headaches, those types of things. So just being aware of those type of internal changes and some of the things that you react to a little bit differently, those are super important, because it could be stress. And more often than not, I always say this, but more often than not, some of the things that we stress about are some of those things that possibly we can't change or we have to wait for an outcome on. And so we spend that time stressing when we really need to just wait for the outcome and then deal with the situation at that time.
There you go. Now, let's say I'm under stress, which can happen quite often. How do I manage the stress? It's like, okay, I've already messed up. I'm stressed out about this. So what do I do?
So some really good things to do, or things that we can do on our own. And I always like to tell students, it's not always about spending money. So you don't always have to go out, I have to go get a massage to get rid of the stress, right?
It's a good excuse. It's a very good excuse.
I'm definitely not opposed to it, but some of those things you can do in the moment, definitely deep breathing. That deep breathing just helps to calm yourself, Another good thing that you can do, we use something in the counseling world that's called the pros and cons list, where on one side of the paper, you would write the pros to a certain situation. On the other side of the paper, you would write the cons. So pros and cons, that could be another thing. Something else that's really simple that we wouldn't think of is just taking a walk. Sometimes if let's say that stressor is at work or at home, just taking yourself away from that environment for 10 minutes, take a 10-minute walk or so, and just calm in that deep breathing. So those are some of the things that you can definitely do to try to keep yourself calm, reduce the stress, and especially if you have other underlying conditions, you don't want to add extra stress on top of that.
Oh, yeah. And now, can you, what you call create moments to reduce stress? I mean, you were just telling us ways to manage it, but maybe, you can prevent stress sometimes. So what are some other things you can do?
Some other things that you can do could be simple things like drawing. If you're a person that likes to draw, maybe if there's something that you look forward to, we all have something or someone that we look forward to. Maybe if that's something that isn't already on your schedule, just taking that moment to say, you know what, I really like to spend time at the movies. I know it's a Tuesday, but I'm going to go to the movies. Mm-hmm. I'm going to go to the movies. Yeah, maybe if you have children or grandchildren or that favorite cousin that you just like to hang out with, taking time to say, you know what, would you like to have dinner? You know, I'm having a hard day or I've had a really hard weekend. Would you like to have dinner? Let's talk and chat if it's that person that you look forward to spending time with. And so those are just some of those, creating those moments to kind of take yourself away from that stress for a bit.
I really like that idea. I do. Now, we talk a lot about healthy boundaries. But sometimes we may not know where that boundary is. So tell us a little bit about healthy boundaries. What exactly, how do we tell what they are? How do we know what they are? And what do we do about it? And why do they matter to us?
Healthy boundaries are important. More often than not, we have individuals that really want to do a great job, and really want to be a part of the team. And sometimes everything is, yes, sure, I'll do it, no problem. And we end up taking on a lot more than
I do that. I will admit. Yeah, there you go. I'll do it.
And I heard you earlier mention something about being a perfectionist of sort. Did I hear that?
Yes, I am.
With creating those healthy boundaries, just being okay with saying, you know what, I may not be able to take this on, but if I am, can I update you? Or, make some other plans, but I can make and contribute to this in some type of way. I can't take on the whole project, but I may be able to contribute in this small way. And it keeps you from being stressed and overwhelmed and taking on too much. I think sometimes in life, whether it's your personal life or your professional life, we take on a lot and we want to do well. And just knowing that we can do well sometimes in just handling the things within the scope of what we can do then.
Yeah, that's probably one of my biggest things that I want to take on everything. I do, and you can't do that. You can't do everything well and do everything. You got to, stick to certain things and go with that. Yeah, my boss tells me that all the time.
Oh, see, this is the perfect segment for us to be together in.
So, but anyways, let me think. Okay, now. All of this, and you always hear about self-care books, self-care this, got to take care of yourself before you can take care of anybody. The excellent example, of course, is when you're on an airplane, they say, when the oxygen comes down, put it on yourself first before you put it on anybody else, because you'll be out before you can try to help anybody else. And I understand that, and that's very important. But sometimes people look at it and say, well, but doesn't that seem a little selfish, So tell us a little bit about all that.
So what you want to do is, if one thing that I like to say is, if you're not okay, how can you be okay for others? How can you be okay for others if you're not okay? And then another thing with regard to self-care, what I'm seeing a lot, like on social media, TikTok, watching the videos, some of the things that we should normalize, I'm seeing them being referred to as self-care, but making a shift. Let's normalize making some of these things that we're coining as self-care, making those just normal procedures for ourselves. Like, you know what, I'm going to get this manicure and pedicure. I'm going to get this massage because, it's Tuesday and Tuesday is my massage day. And it's not necessarily a self-care item. This is part of my regular routine. And so that's something that I would really like to see a shift in. I mean, who am I, right? But this is something that I would really like to see a shift, that people take on some of those relaxing moments, those relaxing things, and just make it part of their just normal routine. And it's not necessarily like an extra perk or a self-care perk.
I like it. That way you don't feel selfish.
Yes.
It's part of what I do, okay? I take care of myself. Okay, yes. That's very good. Well, stress, as you know, hits all of us, no matter how much we may avoid it. And also, it's very good to have these different tools that we can use to help us with that. And we really appreciate it, Roxanne. Of course, we appreciate every time you come on. It's so wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So she is a counselor at HCC Southwest and our Mental Health Monday guest. And we really appreciate her. And we'll have information about how you can get in touch with her and other things that they do there in our post after the show. Now, let's go to the music part, okay? Parrish, you have some a wonderful guest with you. And so can tell us about everything. Turning it over to you. You got the ball. I'm throwing it to you. Are you there? Did you turn on your mic?
No, I did not. I'm on now. Thank you so much, Dr. Tony.
I forget it all the time. So,
I'm stressed. It's the stress.
No stress today. No stress.
I need to manage it better. I need to woosah. I've been looking forward to this for a couple of weeks. We've actually been promoting this gentleman's workshop that happens in July. David Sharma is an HCC professor. He's an Ableton certified trainer from the Media, Visual, and Performing Arts, COE. Welcome to the show, David. How you doing?
I'm great, Parrish. How are you doing?
I am doing really well. Now, before we get into the workshop, I want to talk a little bit about your background. Now, you're a percussionist and you've also worked on stage doing percussion as well as electronics. Tell us a little bit about that.
Sure, yeah. I grew up playing drum set and was in a band before I started classes in college, and we started touring and such. And it was the 90s. It was lots of fun. When that finished and I went back to school, I had a job, and I was sort of thinking, do I really want to continue making music, knowing all the sort of struggles that come with it? This was the early 2000s, and I started taking lessons in some other instruments because I finally had the money to do so, and got really interested in where the musical playing part ended and where the beginnings of production began. Because at this point, computers and music were becoming, you had way more ability to do stuff than you even had 5 or so years ago. So being able to sample something and turn that into a loop and then turn that loop into a song was really, really interesting. And so that just informs my work over and over again. And then how does that come back into what you actually play? Then how does what you play, how can you morph that into a new musical idea? So that intersection of playing and electronics continues to really fascinate me.
Now, according to your demo, you have created sound for a number of stars. Tell us about that.
Sure. The most recent stuff has been some film work. I co-wrote the score for Padma Lakshmi's show, Taste of the Nation, which I believe just won an Emmy. No, she won a James Beard Award over the weekend. So feel good about that one.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And some film work. I mean, any musician who writes, I've demoed stuff for every artist in the world. Some of it sticks, some of it doesn't, but that's part of having a creative career. And becoming a dad a few years ago, I really focused less on touring and working in that crazy environment and more on sort of spreading my knowledge. So being an HCC and getting to teach all this stuff has been a real blessing as well.
Great. Now, how did you make the transition from musicianship and production to actually turning this into an educational format in your life?
Sure. Any musician that I know who makes a living making music, myself included, has always taught, because there's, you're not gigging a lot on a Tuesday morning and there's still bills to pay and food to buy. So everybody I know teaches. So I've been teaching lessons just a couple years less than I've been playing. In my teens, I had private students as well. But when we moved to Houston in 2015, my connection to Houston was through dance, actually, because I had worked with the Mark Morris dance group in Brooklyn, New York. That connected me to the ballet here. And so I instantly started working in the arts and education department in the ballet. And then that spun into teaching in the classroom as well through various connections. So that became a chance for me to really sort of take all these interests and experiences and find a way to share them with other folks.
Now, What is Ableton, and how many people in Houston are certified to do it?
Yeah, that's an excellent question. It's a program that really sort of came around in the early 2000s. It just celebrated being 20 years old, and it really sort of changed the ability of what people can do with music. Right about the time that I was starting to think about computers, Ableton came on the scene. It's a software that's really designed around making music rather than working with sound, because the first sort of forays into computer software were really for people to record and engineer, but making music still existed outside the computer. Ableton Live lets you create music inside the computer and is built around musical languages. So ideas like tempo and pitch are really integral to the software. So you can come up with a song idea, and then you can change its key and you can change its tempo immediately. All these things that happen really quickly in your brain, but until Ableton Live did not happen in a sort of recording or creating environment. And that's continued to grow. So it's a really great place to make music. Place meaning software to make music. I'm the only person in Houston who's certified to teach it, which, again, very proud of. That was really, really hard. And it's a fantastic bit of creative software.
Okay. David Sharma is Yoda. Okay. So we've been promoting this, and I've been very interested in it, and I'm really glad to talk with you today. We've been promoting your workshop that happens the second summer. It happens every Saturday in July. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, it's at the North Forest campus, I believe. I just visited last week in a brand new, beautiful facility.
It is beautiful. Yeah, it is.
Really excited about that. We've got every tool you could possibly need to teach, not just music, really sort of any creative endeavor. So that I'm really excited about. As a musician, I'm used to sort of making do with what we've got, and what we've got right now is a world-class facility, really. So that's really exciting. The workshop is basically about teaching you how to make music in Ableton Live. The first thing we're going to do is figure out what background every student has, and that'll help me sort of pick and choose from all the course ideas I have to something that's going to be the most beneficial to the most numbers of students. So you'll learn some music theory, you'll learn how to work with a computer, you'll hear each other's work, you'll learn how to give criticism and take criticism, which I think is a big part of being a musician. We'll gain some community and ideally come out with not only just knowing how to work the software, but with a bit of a body of work as well. Should be a fun summer.
I believe so. Been looking forward to it. Been looking forward to talking to you about it. And, and especially in that area, I grew up in that area, and I know that, that there are so many people that are interested in that, in that type of stuff. I had the pleasure of being on the radio when I was in college, and we played a bunch of rap music on a show called Kids Jam. And I remember in the 90s, the transition of music going from instrumentation to actual production. And I said, wow, this is crazy. And it's continued to evolve. And that's really, really wonderful. David, it's been a pleasure talking with you. Thank you so much for coming. Please come back and let us know how everything went. And please do this again. This is a great, great thing.
Anytime, Parrish. My pleasure.
Yes.
Nice to hang out.
What you got, Tony?
You definitely have to. I was listening to some of the Ableton stuff that you do on your website, and I thought that's just so wonderful. Being a percussionist myself, I just love the way that you can take this and computerize everything. When I first thought about computerizing music, I thought, oh, that's going to be so artificial and whatever. But it's not. It just opens up a whole new way to create music and sound. I love it. I just think it's neat.
Oh, yeah. I'd like to keep creating basically at the speed that you can think, not at the speed that you can document stuff. It really frees you from a lot of the shackles that currently exist from being creative.
And you can do it live, too. I mean, it's not like you have to do this ahead of time or whatever. You can actually do it live. I mean, I would love to take your course, to be honest with you.
Please come.
So you may see me there.
Please do.
Well, great. Thank you so much for being on the show. And thank you, Parrish. That was wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you, David. Thank you for being with us. And we look forward to talking with you again. That is David Sharma, HCC professor, Ableton certified trainer from the Media, Visual, and Performing Arts COE. We'll have more information about him and the classes and things of that nature in his workshop at the end of the show. Call him Yoda for short.
Yoda.
He's the only one. He's the only one.
Well, I'm in the Media, Visual, Performing Arts COE, so if I call you Yoda, you'll know why.
I will do. We'll let Michael Cohen know about that as well.
Outlander.
Okay.
He's the only one. Thank you so much, David.
Thank you, guys.
Well, let's go to some of the other things that are all going on. HCC, Verizon STEM Summer Camps. HCC's Entrepreneurial Initiatives is teaming up with Verizon to launch 2 STEM summer camps to empower middle schoolers with next-gen technology. Here we go with the technology over and over again. It's wonderful. June 13th to July 1st is going to be at HCC Southeast, and July 11th to July 29th will be at the Houston Baptist University. And we'll have information about that, about registration in our post after the show. What else we got, Parrish?
Well, of course, we've got David's summer workshop. It's going to happen the 4 weekends of July. It's going to happen starting at noon at 4 p.m. on Saturdays, July the 9th, 16th, 23rd, and the 30th. HCC's new audio recording studio at the North Forest campus. And of course, after the show, we'll have more information about that.
Okay, very good. And we have the virtual DEI training. It's going to be called Gender Equity, 2 days and 2 times. The morning session is 10:30 a.m. to noon on Tuesday, June 21st, and the afternoon session is from 2:30 to 4 p.m. Wednesday, June 22nd. Tell us about something else.
We're going to give credit where credit is due, books and supply credit. We have financial aid grants and loans that may be available to assist students for books and supplies with the summer 2022 book credit that happens through August the 1st. We'll have more information about the financial aid book credit information in our post after the show. And of course, don't forget that the creative licenses, HCC license plates are back. Custom HCC license plates are now available, so order yours today and help a student tomorrow. A portion of the proceeds for each of these sales supports student scholarships from the HCC Foundation. We will have a link after the show. And speaking of classes, summer classes have already started, but you can still register. There's still time. And also you can register for the fall semester. Don't forget that the course options still remain online anytime, online on a schedule, hybrid, and also in-person, face-to-face, and hybrid labs. Hybrid labs, don't laugh, hybrid labs. And if you want more information about that, go to HCC.
All you have to do is tell me.
Just laugh. We'll laugh it all off. Exactly. Okay. If you want more information about that, go to hccs.edu/apply. Once again, that's hccs.edu/apply.
Now, we also have evening ESL classes also available at HCC's A-Leaf, Hayes, and West Loop campuses, offering 2 levels, advanced, intermediate, and advanced. Easy for me to say. It prepares students for success in their academic or certificate programs. There's daytime on campus, and online classes are also available for summer and fall registration. And as Parrish was just saying, it's very, very important to register. The summer classes have already begun, but there are still a few of the ones that start a little bit late. So you can still register a little bit for summer classes, but the fall 2022 registration, of course, is very important. Let's do that like right now. And to register, go to hccs.edu/apply. And, make sure you get the, like I said, especially the person-to-person ones, they're very small. Well, we'll add more classes to it, but if you want the class that you want, you need to go ahead and register now so you can go ahead and get the class that you want. Mm-hmm. Now, up next, we're going to have Tasty Tuesday tomorrow. You normally see me on Tasty Tuesdays, but we're going to have Evelyn Garcia of Kin. She will return, and wonderful. She was a finalist on the Top Chef Houston. I'm having trouble getting the words out, which recently just ended. She was the only Houston chef represented, and she made it all the way to the final 3.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's wonderful. And we have a success story too, right, Parrish?
Yes, we will have another student success story from the International Student Services Program to talk about Real Journey Campaign.
And I found out what Real Journey Campaign is, but listen tomorrow so that you can find out what Real Journey Campaign is. It's very, very good. Well, listen, we're about out of time now, but we really appreciate you being here. And Parrish, it was wonderful working with you and all of our wonderful guests. You see, we have all kinds of wonderful, fun, and good things to learn at HCC. So don't forget to register. And we will see you next time, Monday through Friday, tomorrow, Tuesday. So we'll see you tomorrow for Tasty Tuesday and all the other wonderful stuff we have to do. See you next time.